Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay. So what I have here is it's a photo of neon words on a black wall. So the neon is bright white. I don't know if it was shot in black and white or if the neon is actually in white.
Is this one I sent you?
It says think about things differently.
Yeah. Got it. Sure. I was trying to remember. Did I send you this? Or yes.
Exactly. Okay, so so what I do is the I don't look at the images. So all I do
Right.
is I get the email. It just
File it away.
yeah. So here we go. So it's what's cool is it's sort of the sculpted neon, and it says think, next line about, next line things, and next line it says differently, but differently is upside down.
Yep.
And this is mounted on the wall somewhere, I guess.
Sure.
So why are we starting with this, and what's this all about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this idea of we humans tend to quickly judge the book by its cover, and we're seeing the harsh reality of what that means, whether it's racism or profiling someone on the way they look, or what they're dressed like, or what watch they're wearing, or car they're driving. And really, the idea behind it, why it captured my attention, is with the word being upside down, is don't use the same way everyone thinks or think you should think to think for yourself. Think about it differently. So, we jokingly talk about, again, in my business, the hotel business, when someone walks through the lobby wearing a fancy suit and a tie, these days we're like, that's the guy that has no money, that doesn't have any experience. And the guy that walks in with shorts and t-shirt and flip-flops is the guy that probably has more money and has more experience. So all the notions that we're used to, especially generationally, things are changing so fast. I think you need to shed those and start thinking about things differently than you've been taught to for the last however millennia that we humans have existed, because things are definitely changing and they're changing rapidly. So I just loved what it meant and what it stood for. And the idea that the word was upside down was really cleverly done, I thought, to kind of illustrate the point is, not everything that you see is as it appears. Dig deeper, find out more.
That speaks to me for sure on my creative side. I mean, unfortunately, there's the two tensions, right? That in our brains, we need shortcuts. Like we need to take things, we need to jump to assumptions and to just
Sure.
get through our day.
Sure.
But yeah, it's also important to, as you say, to shake things up. Now,
Yeah.
I have to ask, is your background a fake background? Or is that a real, like, are you in a real room with what's around you?
Yes, sir. Real room with what's around me.
Okay, so it's great. Like it says in huge, an exposed brick wall. Very nice. It says practice hospitality. So no vacancy. Now, the reason why I reached out to you was because you're connected to YPO. And because of my work with my former client, good friend and mentor, who was in YPO and WPO, and so there's that whole other world that unless you know it exists, it's not really something. And there's a kind of what I've seen in meeting the different YPOers and stuff is that there's a mindset and a mentality that really kind of unites you a little bit. And so in your case, like what's your life story? Because you're in hospitality, you're a YPOer, so that means you're overseeing, you're the leader of a sizable organization. So who are you?
I grew up in the Middle East, in Syria, and my dad had been to the US and had always dreamt of the American dream, and got married, had kids, and as each one of us graduated high school, helped us and pushed us to come to the US to sort of realize the dream, and then eventually moved here with the rest of my family. So I've been here for 30 some years, spent more time here than I did there. So although I am emotionally connected, I am really, my American wife says I'm more American than she is often. And got in this business from school. Went to school for hospitality, hotel management. And people
Mm,
say, why hotels and why hospitality? And I always refer back to this quote that I think was sort of the moment that really kind of defined why this. There's a quote in the Middle East that goes, when a stranger shows up at your door, feed him for 3 days before you ask him who he is, where he's going to, or where he's from, because by then he'll either have the strength to answer or you'll be such good friends it won't matter. And really, that's
hmm.
essentially the definition of hospitality. And I feel like
Yep.
it's in we humans, I think generally, and you're in a part of the world that really celebrates this idea of hospitality. We are tribal animals. We need each other to survive. We have to be together. And I think in a hotel, in a hospitality construct, this idea of being there to welcome strangers and make them feel safe and comfortable is innate to us. And it's my DNA. I don't think of it as work. I think of it as it is my job on this planet to make sure when you show up, you're well cared for, you're inspired, you're comfortable, you can do what you need to do, and you feel like you belong. In fact, I've trademarked the quote, the sentence, longing for belonging in hospitality, because I think we're all
Hmm.
looking for a home, for a tribe. And I feel we have a place to play into that. So that's sort of the quick story and how I got into it. But yeah, I'll close by saying my neurotic claim to fame as a hotelier is I travel a lot, and if I'm in New York for 3 nights, I stay in three different hotels every single night, a
Oh
different
wow.
one. And when I go back, I don't repeat, so I stay in different hotels the next
Right.
time.
Right.
My current count in Manhattan is 244.
Oh wow. Wow. Look at
I'm
you.
pretty sure I hold the record if I cared enough to prove it. I don't, and
Hmm.
work to prove it, as you know. But it's sort of this idea of being a perpetual student and really a student of humanity. It's less about the building
Yeah.
and more about the interactions you have with the people in the building.
Inside my head right now are all of these fireworks exploding because okay, so just so that you know, my client, I worked with him for I didn't know who he was when I first met him. And then it turns out that he's one of the co-founders of DHL, right? So the DHL, huge,
That small little
and
company, yeah, I've heard of it.
yeah, and so he was one of the co-founders. And for 15 years, we looked at what service is all about, like what is the nature of service, what is and how fundamental it is to being a person. And in your, what you were saying in this idea of the need for belonging, for being part of a tribe, and all these things, the connections I'm making. I mean, you've basically dedicated your life to really to serving and helping others, and to making them feel comfortable, and then to the point of you going to all of these different hotels in Manhattan, and consciously saying, I'm going to experience each individual one to learn. So that speaks to again to the mindset that he had
Sure.
as well, or has, in terms of continuous learning.
Mhm.
And this idea that each time you go into a new place, it's a new habitat, it kind
Mhm.
of teaches you something.
Always. And by the way, often it teaches you what not to do. It's not just the what to
Right.
do, but it's the what
Yep.
not to do. And I do it globally, by the way. It's not limited to New York. I mean, wherever I go,
Yeah.
that's the MO. And it's become sort of my badge of honor and my thing. And to just go back to YPO to clarify on that for those listeners who don't know, YPO is Young Presidents Organization, and it is basically the idea that at the top it tends to be very lonely, and CEOs need a place and a community again to belong, right?
Yep.
And this community creates a sense of belonging, and it's really a group of peers that offer professional networking, advice, collaboration. There's no secret handshake. There's none of that. But it's a powerful group, 35,000 people globally. And to your comment, there are some incredible people in that organization that you have access to that could be friends and helpers and mentors and all of that. So
Yeah.
it has been a great pivotal moment in my time in my life joining it, and I have become very, very active in it. I actually run the
Mm.
hospitality network inside of YPO, all volunteer, obviously. So
Wow. Yeah. So looking at service and what is service in, DHL, what is DHL? They don't make anything. It's just, just one person meeting another person and it being
Sure.
the energy between two people.
Right there on service, I'll jump in if you don't mind before I lose
Please,
my
please.
train of thought here. Often people accuse me of being in the service industry, and I call foul on
Mm,
that, and I say, no, 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 no. I deliver a service. You need a bed and a shower, I give you a bed and a shower. Okay? You need to order food, I deliver you food. My dentist delivers a service. Where I get my
mm-hmm,
car fixed, they deliver a service. So, yes, hotels do deliver a service, but the actual business we're in is hospitality. And the clear distinction between the two is service is something you deliver. I go to New York, I want an extra towel. A little R2D2 looking robot comes to my room with the
mm-hmm,
towel. Good enough, I've got my towel. Hospitality is how you make people feel. And I'm not saying never, but until we can teach robots how to have empathy and emotional intelligence, feelings
mm-hmm.
are limited to humans, right?
Yep.
And I think if we lose sight of that, that is in fact the business we are all in. DHL is in that
Mm-hmm,
business. Sure, I want my package on time. That's a service, you delivered it. But how you make me feel, whether directly or indirectly, is a function of human connections. Interestingly enough, by the way, Airbnb, as you know, one of their key things that they focused on when they launched is right now you go to Marriott, typical hotel room, you go into a website and you go into this big black corporate hole. You don't know anything, you don't know anyone. As far as
mm-hmm.
you know, Debbie who's talking to you is a bot. It is a bot. It's not a
Right.
human.
Right.
Airbnb says the minute you decide to book with us, we're connecting you with the host. Think about the use of the word host. It's
Mm-hmm,
warm, it's fuzzy, it's someone welcoming you in. And the first email you get is from the host that says, "Hi, I'm Debbie. I own this unit. Delighted to have you as my guest." So I think when you think about something as mundane as delivery in the DHL case, when I'm dealing with DHL and I'm receiving a package, I want to feel like I matter. So how you communicate with me and the text you send me and the email you send me that says your package is coming matters because I'm building a
yep.
relationship with you beyond just a commodity. Because if you're a commodity, right, then the only way for you to survive it's a price and a convenience commodity. Like for example, I buy gasoline. I don't care where I get my gasoline
Mm-hmm.
from, my petrol from. I think about convenience in location and price. But if that's what some of these businesses become, then there's no loyalty. I don't care who you are. I just want
Exactly.
the service done.
Think about things differently. Look, okay, so in your world right now, it's what, 6, 7 in the evening?
No, actually, it's 3:15 p.m.
Right. Okay. So me, it's 7 in the morning. And I love that this is where we are.
already.
Bashar, this is great. This is great. This is great. Okay, let's move on to the next photo.
Let's.
Unless you want to say something else about this image, think about things differently.
I think again, I'll close by saying we again lose sight of as advanced as we have become as a species, we still have what's programmed inside of us that doesn't go away no matter what happens. It's always
Hmm.
there. And I think we tend to neglect what's inside. And again, we want to focus on what's at the outside, right? And
Right.
by doing that, we lose so much. I think Rumi, the poet Rumi, this between what is said, what is not said and lost, and whatever, something like that. So much is lost between what is said and what is not said. So you've got to dig
Hmm.
deeper. You can't just rely. When you take that photo and you look at it the first time, you see something, look at it again, and you're going to see something different.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.